Okay, today what I'm going to do is a modification of these wing skirts. That's probably not the official name for them, but I don't know what is. And I'm going to show you what I did to attach them to the axle with some standard stock cotton thread. And I'll show you both the mistake as well as the correct way of doing it here that I did. First off, you really should remove the wheel, and then I have this little device that I cut from a standard spray bottle to go in there and make the wheel fit better, and then of course the 440 axle nut. But if you get one of these large bulletin board tacks, that works well for going ahead and taking this wing skirt and positioning it on the axle. This is not rocket science, but when you get it on here, like say, take the rubber band off and put it out of the way initially, but you can mark some little areas on either side of the axle so that you can punch holes. Bingo and bingo. Here, you punch the holes before you actually put the skirt on, and that will allow you to take a standard needle, or one that's relatively a little bit larger, and run that through these holes with your standard cotton thread. Nylon if you want to go that route, I guess it doesn't matter. And you just start wrapping it around. My mistake was that the first one that I did, I started the thread pushing the needle through on the opposite side. And what happens is when you finish up, when you run it around 1, 2, 3 times, you end up putting your knot to the outside here, and it probably looks more aesthetically pleasing if you put the knot to the inside. Nevertheless, you can work on it with this in any position. I happen to like this little block of wood that I have for another purpose here. It gives me a solid surface to work on as I loop this around. I'm just showing you that you do want to make sure that you go around the axle each time. Just whip it around, and you can decide for yourself how much is enough as far as how many times you want to go through. I would think 3 times through it is the max. And then you just tie it into a knot, trim it off, and excuse me, you're set to go. Then once you get this done, you can put your wheel back on, but the wing strut will look basically like this. And if you see the first one, you can't really tell the difference. I started in the front section and end up with a knot there, but they're not enough to really tell much about. If you really wanted to get anal, because you're afraid these might come loose or something, you could put a drop of CA glue on them. I wouldn't recommend that. I think that they really need to flex a little bit, and they're not going to come off until you have a real hard crash. So then once you get through, you go ahead and I use this piece here so that these wheels do not wobble so much. Put your 440 nut back on there, and you're good to go. Now, some people do recommend trimming off at an angle this piece here, but it's on the forward side here, I guess you would say, or the rear side rather. And the reason that they do that is they claim that on a hard crash these wheels will flex a little bit, snag that, and cause a rollover on the plane. But I think with the 3-inch wheels, you're not going to run into any problem with that. So I'm not going to trim it off, and I'll see exactly what I run into. If it does need some trimming later on, I can come back and do that. But these gets these skirts on, and like I say, it's not rocket science. You don't have to line them up 100%, but it gives them a little stability there when you're putting it